Let's get something straight. Your dream is not sitting on a throne somewhere waiting to be handed to you. It's not coming to knock on your door one peaceful morning and say, "Hey, I'm here now. Let's make everything easy." That's not how dreams work. They don't come to you. You have to go to them. You have to rise, run, and pursue them with everything you've got. Because if you don't, someone else will. We live in a world where too many people wait. They wait for signs, for approval, for the perfect moment, for someone to discover them, for the fear to go away, or for the stars to align. But what they don't realize is that the stars don't align for people who sit still. They align for the ones who move with purpose. They align for the ones who get up again and again, even when they feel broken, even when the room is silent, even when no one is clapping for them yet. They go. They build. They chase. You don't need to be the smartest. You don't need a perfect plan. What you need is the willingness to start and the grit to keep going. Dreams respond to action. They are activated by discipline, by showing up when you don't feel like it, by pushing when you'd rather quit. Every single step you take, even the smallest ones, shift the momentum in your favor. But if you're sitting around waiting for motivation to magically hit, you'll be waiting a long time. Let's talk about relentless pursuit. That means not sometimes, not when it's convenient, not only when it feels good. Relentless means you pursue it when it's hard. You pursue it when you're tired. You pursue it when everyone else has gone home. You pursue it when you're not seeing the results yet, because you understand this, your dream is worth the fight. It's worth the sweat. It's worth the nights of doubt, the early mornings, the lonely roads. Why? Because it belongs to you. Not because someone told you it was yours, but because something inside of you whispered it long before anyone else could see it. There will be obstacles. That's not a question. There will be moments where life feels like it's trying to rip the dream out of your hands. It will test your resolve, your patience, your commitment. But that is the proving ground. That's where you discover how bad you really want it. Anybody can want a dream. That's easy. But to chase it relentlessly, that takes courage. That takes resilience. That takes getting knocked down and still choosing to get up, wipe off the dirt, and say, "Let's go again." The truth is, you will face competition. You'll face distractions. You'll face rejection. But none of those things can beat someone who refuses to quit. Talent can get you started, but hunger is what keeps you in the race. Some people have skill. Others have will. The ones who win, they've got both. But when all else fails, will beat skill every single time. People love the idea of the dream, but they don't always love the work. They love the result, but not the repetition. They love the praise, but not the practice. But let me tell you something. If you only show up when you feel like it, your dream will stay a wish. It's only when you commit, regardless of the mood, the weather, or the noise, that things begin to move. You are not powerless. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are not behind. But you are responsible. Responsible for showing up. Responsible for taking the next step. Responsible for chasing the thing that sets your soul on fire. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Yes, people will doubt you. But while they're watching, questioning, and waiting, you'll be building. You'll be proving. You'll be moving in the direction of your dream, not because someone gave you a guarantee, but because you made a decision. The dream doesn't come to those who wish for it. It comes to those who work for it. Every single day, without apology, without hesitation, without waiting for someone to give them the green light. Too many people walk through life feeling like they're missing something, like the answers are always outside of them. They look to other people for validation, They wait for some kind of sign to move forward, and they convince themselves they're not ready, not enough, or not qualified. But the truth is everything you need to achieve what you see in your heart is already inside you. You don't have to borrow it. You don't have to earn it from someone else. You were born with it. That dream you see, the one that keeps showing up in your mind when everything is quiet, is not random. It's not a fantasy. It's a signal. It's a vision that belongs to you and only you. And here's the truth that most people never fully embracing. If you can see it, you can move toward it. If you can feel it, you can build it. The reason you see that dream is because you have the seeds of greatness already planted within you. They don't need permission to grow. They just need to be claimed. But here's the thing, power doesn't show up unless you're willing to step into it. You have to stop asking, stop doubting, stop giving your energy to fear. You don't need to have everything figured out to start. You just need to trust that the same force that gave you the vision also gave you the tools. Maybe you haven't unlocked them yet. Maybe they've been buried under years of self-doubt, rejection, and fear. But they're there. Every time you act in faith, every time you push beyond fear, every time you silence the voice that says, you can't, you get closer to your power. People are waiting for a title, a degree, and applause before they feel worthy. But worthiness isn't earned externally, it's owned internally. You have to stand up and claim your space. You have to say, I belong here. I'm ready now. I've got what it takes. Because if you don't believe in your own power, you'll spend your life working to build someone else's vision instead of your own. And let's be clear, power doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean having all the answers. It doesn't mean you'll never fail. Real power is the decision to keep showing up. It's the strength to learn, to adapt, to evolve. It's the courage to take risks, to trust your voice even when it shakes, and to stay in the fight long after everyone else has walked away. That's the kind of power that changes lives. That's the kind of power that builds legacies. Look at the people who inspire you. Look at the ones who built something meaningful. You'll see a common pattern. They weren't born with more time, more talent, or more luck than you. What they had was belief. Relentless belief. Not just in their idea, but in their capacity to carry it. They looked in the mirror and said, I've got something to give. And they didn't wait for anyone to agree with them. So if you're still sitting on the sidelines, if you're still questioning whether you have what it takes, if you're still asking the world to tell you who are, stop. Go inward. That's where your power is. That's where your clarity lies. That's where your strength has been waiting for you to wake up and recognize it. No one can activate your power for you. No one can fight for your dream the way you can. People can support you. They can encourage you. They can walk with you for a while. But no one can carry the weight of your purpose except you. That's your assignment. That's your responsibility. That's your calling. When you stop doubting your power, you start using it. And when you use it, everything begins to shift. Doors open. People take notice. Opportunities appear. Not because something outside of you changed, but because you finally aligned with who you were always meant to be. Your gifts, your story, your voice. They are enough. Not someday. Not when you've proven something, but right now. Failure, the word alone carries weight. It's heavy, uncomfortable, and often feared. Most people run from it, hide from it, or try to avoid it at all costs. But what they don't realize is that failure is not a dead end. It's not the enemy. It's not a permanent label. Failure is feedback. It's education in motion. It's life giving you data, experience, and most importantly, an invitation to rise higher than where you fell. You don't need to be afraid of failing. What you should be afraid of is not trying at all. Because the person who never fails is the person who never risks, never dares, never reaches beyond the safe and predictable. And you can't build a dream inside the safety zone. Dreams demand courage. And courage sometimes leads to stumbling, falling, getting bruised. That's the reality. But just because you fall doesn't mean you're finished. Every successful person you admire has failed. Not once, many times, spectacularly, publicly, painfully. They've launched businesses that collapsed, invested years into things that didn't work out, spoken words that fell flat, tried, missed, and tried again. But what separates them from the ones who stayed stuck is they refused to let failure define them. They saw it as a chapter, not the whole story. There is power in failing forward, because each failure teaches you something you couldn't have learned by standing still. It refines you. It exposes your blind spots. It humbles you, sure, but it also hardens your resolve. You gain wisdom, not from the wins, but from the wounds. You learn what not to do, what to avoid, where to aim next time. Failure sharpens your instincts, expands your awareness, and prepares you for the success you're building toward. People get stuck because they think failure is a reflection of who they are. But failure isn't personal, it's situational. You are not your failed attempt. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the rejection letter, the missed opportunity, the business that didn't take off. You are the person who tried, and that already puts you ahead of the people still sitting in fear. You showed up, you gave it a shot, and that courage alone is proof of growth. And if you've failed before, and you're still here, then you've already proven that you can survive it. You're already stronger than your fear. Do you know how many people quit after one loss, after one no, after one door closes? Too many. But those who understand that failure is part of the process don't quit. They adjust, they pivot, they analyze, then they get back in the ring. They don't shrink from the fall, they prepare for the rise. There's something about coming back from failure that nothing else can give you. It builds something inside you. Call it grit, call it fire, call it hunger. It's the thing that can't be taught in a classroom or handed to you in a seminar. It's earned through trying and missing, through showing up and not getting the results you wanted, through hearing no and deciding that next time is coming. The world may count you out. People may label you. The whispers might grow louder, but their judgment doesn't define you. Only your response does. That's where the comeback begins. Not in applause, but in silence. In that quiet moment when no one is watching and you decide to try again. That's where greatness is born. Not in comfort, but in persistence. In the choice to learn from the fall, not be broken by it. Failure strips away the illusion of control, the expectation of perfection, and the ego that says everything must work on the first try. It's humbling, yes, but it's also cleansing. It reveals what really matters. It forces you to connect to your deeper purpose. Because if your dream dies at the first sign of struggle, then it wasn't rooted deeply enough. But if you can stare failure in the face and say, you don't get to have the last word, then you've already taken back your power. This journey you're on, it's going to include setbacks. You will make mistakes. You will fall short. But every setback contains the seeds of a setup. Every loss can become the foundation of a future win. The moment you realize that failure isn't a stop sign, but a stepping stone, you take away its power to paralyze you. You get to decide what it means. You get to write the next part of the story. Failure doesn't close the door. It opens a new one. If you're willing to walk through it, there's a lie that far too many people believe, and it goes like this: I'll start when the time is right. It sounds reasonable. It sounds smart, but it's not the truth. It's an excuse wrapped in comfort. It's procrastination dressed up as patience. And it's the reason so many dreams are still sitting on shelves, collecting dust, instead of coming to life. People wait for the perfect conditions. They wait for the perfect amount of money, the perfect level of confidence, the perfect network, the perfect approval from someone else. They wait until the fear is gone, the doubt is silent, and everything is mapped out clearly. But if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, you'll never move, because perfect moments don't come fully formed. They're created in motion, not in stillness. You'll never have every answer. You'll never feel completely ready. You'll always have something to learn, something to fix, something to figure out. That's how life works. Starting before you're ready is not reckless. It's necessary, because the readiness you think you need only shows up after you take action. You don't wait to feel courageous. You act, and then courage begins to grow. There's something powerful that happens when you start anyway, even with the fear, even with the doubt, even when your hands are shaking. The moment you move, you separate yourself from the crowd. Most people are still waiting for that mythical right time that never arrives. But the moment you step out, you break the pattern. You set a new standard for yourself. Don't get it confused. Preparation is important. Planning is smart, but there's a difference between preparing and hiding. If you've been preparing for years and you're still not executing, you're not preparing. You're delaying. There comes a moment when you have to stop rehearsing and walk onto the stage. That moment is always now. Because action is the greatest teacher, and experience is the best kind of preparation. The truth is, life doesn't wait. Time doesn't pause until you're in the mood to pursue your calling. While you're waiting, someone else is starting. Someone else is launching. Someone else is putting their name on it, taking the leap, failing, learning, getting better. And that someone could have been you. The difference isn't talent or luck. It's initiative. The courage to act when everything inside you says wait. And yes, a starting now means you'll make mistakes. It means you'll stumble, learn, and grow in public. But what's the alternative? To sit in silence with your potential locked inside you. To carry your dream around like a burden instead of living it like a mission. You can't evolve if you're not willing to begin. Every great success story has a messy first chapter. The key is that they wrote it. They didn't just think about it. People often think there will be a magical moment where everything lines up. But life is not a movie. Real life is chaotic, unpredictable, and often inconvenient. You have to carve out space for your dream in the middle of the mess. You have to build while you heal, work while you doubt, grow while you stumble. That's what starting now looks like. It's not pretty, but it's powerful. There's a cost to waiting. There's a cost to inaction. Time doesn't refund itself. Opportunities don't always knock twice. And sometimes the dream you're sitting on has an expiration date. Not because it isn't possible, but because the version of you that was meant to carry it forward is ready now, not later. The longer you wait, the more you risk becoming a stranger to your own potential. If you're breathing, you've got what you need to begin. You don't need the applause first. You don't need everyone to understand. You don't need clarity on every single detail. What you need is movement. Because once you start, things begin to shift. Resources show up. People show up. Strength you didn't know you had starts to rise. But you won't see any of it until you take the first step. You're not behind. You're not unqualified. You're not late. You're just one decision away from momentum. And the longer you delay that decision, the heavier it gets. The time you're waiting for is not coming in the future. It's already here, disguised as today we grow up in a world that teaches us to ask for permission. Permission to speak. Permission to move. Permission to try something new. And before we even realize it, we start applying that same pattern to our dreams. We wait. We look around. We wonder if it's okay to want more, to reach higher, to think beyond what's normal. And in that hesitation, in that need for approval, too many dreams get buried before they ever get the chance to breathe. But here's the true thing. No one can give you permission to be who you already are. No one can authorize your greatness, your voice, your purpose. It was already stamped on your soul the moment you were born. You were not designed to blend in. You were not meant to shrink, apologize, or make yourself smaller so others feel more comfortable. If something inside you is calling you to something greater, that's all the confirmation you need. Dreaming big is not arrogance. It's not selfishness. It's a form of courage. It takes vision to see what isn't there yet. It takes strength to imagine a life that breaks generational limits, defies social expectations, and pushes beyond fear. You're not crazy for wanting more. You're awake. You're not unreasonable for dreaming big. You're in alignment with your potential. And you don't need anyone's blessing to step into that truth. Too many people wait for someone to tell them it's okay to go after what they really want. They wait for a teacher, a mentor, a boss, a parent, a partner, or even a stranger to validate their desire before they act. But the people who change the game, the people who disrupt the pattern, they don't wait for a green light. They are the green light. They look at the road ahead, feel the fear, and move anyway. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your dreams. You don't need to justify your ambition, your hunger, or your pursuit. People might not understand it, and that's fine. It wasn't given to them. It was given to you. The vision that lives in you was not meant to make sense to everyone else. If you spend your life chasing approval, you'll always be running in circles, trying to earn what you already have the right to claim. And yes, dreaming big will make some people uncomfortable. It might trigger their insecurity. It might highlight their fear. It might remind them of what they gave up on. But that has nothing to do with you. Your job is not to manage their comfort. It's to honor your calling. Because the people who doubt you today might be the same people asking you how you did it tomorrow. But you won't get there if you keep waiting for applause before you begin. A courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act in spite of it. It's the voice inside you that says, I might not know how, but I'm going anyway. It's what fuels movement, even when your legs are shaking. It's what carries you through the silence, the setbacks, and the lonely seasons when no one sees what you're building. Courage is what turns a big dream into a real journey. There will be resistance. There will be criticism. But the greatest resistance often shows up right before your breakthrough. Don't let it stop you. Don't let the small minds keep you from the big vision. The ones who made history, the ones who left a mark. They weren't the most liked or the most accepted. They were the most persistent, the most daring, the ones who stood when others sat, who moved when others froze, who spoke when others stayed quiet. The world doesn't need more people who follow the script. It needs more people who write their own. More people who are willing to say, this is who I am, and this is what I'm here to do. You don't need the world's permission to live boldly. You need your own decision to stop waiting and start acting. Your dream doesn't need to fit inside someone else's box. It was never meant to be small. It was meant to challenge you, to stretch you, to pull you forward into a version of yourself you haven't fully met yet. You don't have to wait until you're fearless. flawless, or fully ready. You just have to be willing to move with what you've got right now, with your knees shaking and your heart pounding, knowing that the courage to take the first step is what separates the dreamers from the doors. You've heard the truth laid bare. No more waiting, no more doubting, no more asking the world for permission to be who you are. The dream that lives inside you isn't passive. It's urgent. It's calling you to get up, to take action, to push past fear, and to rise in the face of failure. Because you don't need to wait for the perfect time. The time is now. You already have everything it takes. The strength, the fire, the potential, it's been there all along. This journey won't be easy. It's not supposed to be. But greatness never grows in comfort. The road will challenge you, test you, and demand more of you than you thought you had to give. But every step you take, every time you fall and get back up, every decision you make to keep moving forward, that's how the dream becomes real. That's how your story is written. No more small thinking. No more shrinking. No more holding back. You don't need a guarantee. You don't need a title. You don't need to fit someone else's mold. You just need the courage to act. The courage to trust that your dream chose you for a reason. Move. So rise. Walk forward with purpose. Speak with fire. Move with boldness. Get up and go after your dream like your life depends on it. Because it does.